Jonathan,
I know.
we're up for YouTube right now.
Right, yeah.
Okay, get ready for the show. A couple seconds of quiet. Welcome to WP-Tonic, episode 30. Jonathan Denwood and Bill Conrad. Jonathan, we're here. Take 5 or 6.
Yeah, I've forgotten, Bill.
Yeah, we've had some connectivity issues. Unusual. I guess it's the FCC is breaking in now.
Oh, you did say some nasty things about them, didn't you, Bill?
Yes, I did. Well, anyway, driving on for today's show, we'll be talking about social media.
Yes, March on WP-Tonic is going to be social media month, Phil.
And one last thing before we start, too. If I sound a little different, if I sound a little high, I've got a noise gate. It's a new tool. Got to learn how to use it. Just plugged it in and tested it with Jonathan. So I might sound a little bit different today. But driving on, let's get into the social media stuff. This is important stuff. Yep,
it is important. So basically, you wanted to get me to give a broad outline because we've got a very diverse audience, real newbies to WordPress and the internet.
Yeah, we're just talking, yeah.
And then we got a more experience.
Should I do this again? I'm being rough on Jonathan today.
Yeah, I need to get on with this, Bill, because my system's a bit flaky and we need to get on with this.
Drive on.
So basically, there's about 5 networks and then a couple that are important, but not major players, I would say. I personally, the top 3 is arguable what position they're in. It depends what what your particular industry is and what you're trying to achieve. But first 3, I would order them this way: is Facebook. Then you could either have YouTube or Twitter. They are interplaceable, so they're the top 3. So Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Then I would say Google Plus. Then I would say LinkedIn. And then the 2 smaller ones, but are big in certain groups and certain areas, is Pinterest and then Instagram.
And Instagram is used by the kids. The kids are using it left and right, high school and under.
And it's also really a mobile app, owned by Facebook.
So that really is a good understanding of what social media is, the social media elements right there. That's very good.
I would say they're the main 7 players at the present moment. Right?
And like Facebook, to me, is a lot of older people are using Facebook now, where the younger people have gone away. YouTube's used by everybody. And YouTube does other things, too. It hooks in the backside of Google Plus for the local SEO, like you were talking earlier.
Right. So the good thing, a bit like the membership plugins last month, which was membership plugin month, is that if you're utilizing WordPress and you're utilizing the downloadable WordPress.org and you're hosting it yourself, you've got an enormous choice when it comes to social media plugins. Compared to hosted solutions or WordPress.com, you've got a lot more choice. So we're going to split the month up. I've divided it into 3 main areas: social media sharing, social media following, and social media comments. And I'm going to talk about them in over the 3 episodes. Hopefully, we're going to have a speaker, and we might have a closing episode. It depends how we get through all this, Bill.
Right, and again, this is really critical, especially if you have a business and trying to grow the business and drive traffic to your website or wherever it might be.
Yeah, it is crucial, Bill. Now, sharing. Obviously, you publish content on your WordPress-powered website, and you want that content to be shared. So, and one of the most important ways of getting new content shared is... I've lost it, Bill.
You know what I am? I'm adjusting my camera. Jonathan's listening. Don't look at me, Jonathan.
Right, yeah. The main way of sharing your stuff is through social media. So if you publish posts on a regular basis, you want those to be shared. You want your content to be shared. And WordPress has a lot of different plugins and services that can do that. I'm going to start off with some they're kind of services that also provide plugins, but they're services that provide buttons to a number of other content management systems like Joomla, Drupal, or a non-content managed powered website. The reason why I'm going in these to start off with, because they offer a broad selection of buttons that help with sharing, following, and your comment. So these services offer a broad range of solutions for all the three sub areas that I've already mentioned, Bill. And also, you sometimes can get with anything to do with WordPress. Sometimes you can get some conflicts with plugins. So your most favorite WordPress plugins, around social media, you just sometimes can't use them. So looking at one of these services can be one of the solutions. Also, some hosting providers, certain social media plugins do well known to cause conflict. So some hosting providers that specialize in WordPress won't allow you to utilize some popular social media plugins. So if that's the case, you can look at one of these services as a solution. And the three main ones is Share This, Shareaholic, and Add This. I haven't utilized Shareaholic that much, but the other two, Share This and Add This, I have utilised. Like I say, they've got a broad range of solution that covers almost anything you might want to do on your website around social media. The one that I would recommend of these three is Share This. I think it's got the broadest range, the most stylish looking, and all three of these services, they offer these products for free. And they all offer plugins, but the plugin is more about ease of integrating their services onto your website, Bill.
Right.
So I think I've explained that much clearer this time, actually.
It's actually a tough concept to get around. For example, when you see when you see a button like on Twitter, it says basically share this as a share button. Some people get confused. The share button and the follow button often look the same.
Yes.
So if you read next to it, usually it says follow me or share this, and you're sharing what you have. Let's say I put up a post on a website, and Jonathan and I both use similar buttons, and you go share this on Twitter, it goes up to Twitter right away. And then later on, if you want to retweet it, something different. But yeah. I'm not sure about share this. Exactly what does it do?
Like I said, it provides a broad range of buttons around the three sub-concepts that I initially mentioned. But all these services offer a broad range of sharing, the three main sharing, following, and comments.
And comments, right. And
they provide a broad range of buttons that do all three in one service. And they provide all these buttons, and you can choose the button in their website interface. And then they provide the code, or the code is provided through a WordPress button plugin.
A plugin, right? Most people use plugins. At least the people we train up are the button. They're using plugins at this time. Got it. And if you go to share this, it shows the buttons off on the left side. If you go to the
if you go to one of these, Bill, and then try and use it, all kind of come together, Bill.
Right.
Well, I'm not sure with you, but
I just tweeted share this onto my site. So
that's nice. And then then we got floating social media. I'm sure our listeners have gone to a lot of sites and they see a bar normally on the left that's free floating. It's not connected to either side. It floats either on the left or right. Mostly on the left. Have you seen those, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah, they're very popular. They do take some of them do take up quite a bit of real estate. That's one of the problems with them. And as you scroll through the page, it keeps with you. It keeps
right. SumoMe we both use SumoMe, and it has that feature.
It's slightly different what they are offering because it's actually on the edge of the page, and they're buttons where what I'm talking about is a kind of with curved edges either side. It's a box that floats.
Okay.
Freestanding. The most popular one, what they tend to do also is they tend to offer all the functionality in the floating box. So they're offering the sharing, the following, and sometimes the comic functionality all in that floating box.
Okay.
So one of the most popular one, and all which is free, is from WP Beginner. It's not the most customable. It does offer some customability, but it's not the most customable of these that I'm going to mention. But it is totally free. And the next one is Floating Social, which is from WP Mod Dev. If you know WP Mod Dev, they've got a slightly unusual. You go on a monthly subscription, which is $19 a month, and then you can download quite a few of their plugins, and you can cancel the monthly subscription after you've downloaded the ones that you want. But you do have to be a bit careful because it's easy just to let the $19 carry on. So, and then you got Jetpack, and that's totally free. And you know, and I know, Bill, it offers a lot of other additional functionality.
Right. Jetpack, I've got on a couple of my sites, I've got mixed feelings.
Yeah,
I know you don't like Jetpack.
I wouldn't quite say dislike. It's just that I've never really got into the habit of utilising it. But if you're a new user and you don't really know what you need, it does provide a lot of functionality, and it's all free.
Right.
And it gives you the opportunity then to see if you need something a little bit better than what it offers. So it has its place.
And its form builder isn't too bad for freebie.
A lot of stuff that it does isn't bad, is it?
No.
And then you've got one that I haven't used that's not so well known, but it's getting really popular, is Flare. And this is a free floating bar, but it seemed to offer a lot more customization than Floating Social Bar does from WP Beginner. So I had a good look at it, and it looks quite impressive, and it's getting a lot of downloads and quite a few people utilising it. And these floating bars do have their place, but a bit like what you said, the one we use on our site, they do take up a bit of real estate, don't they?
I'm looking right now at the WordPress.org, and Flare's got a lot of one stars. It's probably because it's new, probably, but it looks kind of neat.
Oh, well, so I didn't actually see that. I thought it was getting some good.
3.5 stars overall as a rating. It doesn't have a ton of ratings, but
yeah, it's pretty new, isn't it?
Yep.
And then, as you mentioned, there's what I call the hybrid semi-floating bars. And what I mean is like Zoom on Me, the one we utilise. They're not quite free floating. They're more of the edge.
Right.
And they tend to be look like buttons, don't they?
Yep.
And Zoom on Me is a very popular one. It's totally free. There are some options that you can pay for, but most of the functionality is there, and it's useful functionality. Another one that I haven't utilised, which is a paid one. One of the things you've got to be keep in mind with Zoom on Me is they are collecting data from your website. That's why you're getting it free. Right, so
a lot of the companies are, though, aren't they? All these freebies.
Well, like the free services that I mentioned, that's why they offered such extensive functionality as a free product, is that they're taking data from your website. They're taking what posts are being liked the most, and then they're selling that data to third parties. So if that's not really something that you really want to happen, there's another one which isn't free. It's called Encourage Social Sharing with Social Share and Looker Pro. What a name! And it's from Theme Forest, and it's $14, and it's a pretty good one. It's a very popular download from Theme Forest, and so I put that. And then you got Monarch, and we did talk about Monarch, and Monarch's a really nice looking, slightly more stylish than Zoom on Me, and it comes from Elegant Themes. But the problem is that you got to pay $89 if you just want that.
That's a lot.
But you get all their themes. But the thing is, you might not want all their themes.
Right. I don't want anybody else's themes right now.
So that's a bit of a problem with that. So how are we doing for time, Bill?
Yeah, we got about 4 more minutes. I know that we're going to go into more detail down the road. So you've got social media following. We really didn't get into that today, and social media comments.
Yeah.
Just an overview, and we'll get back. We'll dive into more detail. I'd like to even dive into specific social media platforms, like even possibly Twitter and how to use Twitter better.
Well, I think one of the main things is initially Twitter. Some of the key things you got to know about Twitter, Bill.
Yeah, we'll do that another show.
No, we've got 4 minutes, so we just choose Twitter. Then
okay.
Next show we talk about Facebook.
Okay.
With Twitter, it's got its own language almost. Hashing. Basically, when you start off, it's very hard to initially get going with it because they do recommend some people that you should follow. But basically, how do you get your membership up? The main bit of advice I would suggest to people is don't use these services that offer so many followers.
Yeah, those don't do anything.
Because they're mostly computerized accounts that have been set up by server farms in the Far East, and they're not actually real people, so they have very little value. So don't do that. Basically, you need to find your lead people in your particular industry, and then you need to find those that are actively utilizing Twitter. And when it comes to online, like with the WordPress community or anything to do with online marketing, you're not going to have any shortage of people that are active on Twitter. So, depending on what industry, you do a search in Google, like the top 50 social media gurus in your industry, whatever industry, like could be food. So you would highlight the 50 top bloggers in food, and then you would connect through Twitter. And by doing that, you would repost their Twitters, retwittering as it's called.
Right.
So it's got its own language. That's one of the problems.
You got to get online and play with it. And
you've got to do some research. Yeah. Also, it has you can unfollow, but better unless somebody is really being really very annoying. It's better to mute somebody.
Mute. Yeah.
Because they don't actually know. Well, there is a way for them to know, but actually muting them means that you're not seeing their posts, but you're not banning them.
Right.
The other thing about Twitter that's really very powerful, which a lot of newbies don't know about, is lists. And lists are a way of subdividing your stream. Another thing, and you can have public lists and private lists. Public lists are another way where you can you follow somebody that's somebody that's kind of a guru in your particular industry that has a lot of followers, and if their lists are public, you can see who they are following, and I would suggest then you follow those people yourself.
Right.
Private lists you won't be able to see. Another thing that's a little bit you got to understand about Twitter is it's a non-curated platform, unlike Facebook. Facebook through their system select what posts you will see, where with Twitter it's a continuous non-curated feed. The more people you follow that are following you, the quicker your feed will go through. And when you start getting into the thousands or the tens of thousands of Twitter followers, your feed will just whiz through as you're looking at it.
Right. The stuff is coming into you, and they'll stop and then stack. But a couple of things. I've helped quite a few people lately set up in Twitter, my 5 new betas. And it's good to sit with somebody when you first set up with Twitter and have them show you a couple of basic things. But what you need to do is go ahead and, like we're talking about following, if you want to build a list fast, you can follow almost 2,000 people initially without having anyone follow you. So if you add 300, 400, 500 a day for 3 or 4 days, you'll have 2,000 people. Let them sit there for a while, and then people will start following you.
Yeah, those are really very broad guidelines. If you let me finish,
Go ahead.
because I do know a lot about, is that there actually aren't guidelines that came from Twitter. There's a lot of evidence that is the case. But Twitter doesn't actually broadcast that information.
Nope.
Just to stop. But normally you are correct. But 500 a day is pushing it a bit. I would suggest a couple hundred at the most.
Yeah.
Better, more like 50 a day.
If you do 1,000 or 1,100, they'll shut you down for a
Well,
short
if
period
you
of time.
push it, then you have to go.
One
They
day.
do have a appeals system, and you can get it re-established like 2, 3. After the third time, they probably will ban you forever. The other thing you got to keep in mind is that there is a kind of Twitter culture. It's better to use a scheduling tool. Another thing that newbies tend to do, which is quite annoying on Twitter, is they post stuff blocks. So so they blocked like 8 things all at once, and that's quite annoying. And so when you start getting into it, utilizing a scheduling tool is quite important. Two of the most popular is there's one from my mind's gone blank. Hootsuite. They provide they provide a free product, and then they provide 2, one for Chrome and one from Firefox. They offer some free plugins. It's okay actually because it's free, and it's a bit clunky. And then there's another one called Buffer. The problem with Buffer is I feel it's a much slicker interface, but the problem is with their free product, they really cut down how many Twitter posts you can schedule on the free product. They've cut it down to such an extent that it's not really worth using as a scheduling tool, and that's a bit of a problem. There's a couple other ones that escape me, but there's a couple other free ones. Yeah. But the 2 I've mentioned, the Hootsuite is clunky, but they don't have the restriction that Buffer gives you. But on the other hand, if you're really utilising it, I do like Buffer, and it's $10 a month. But I say that these $10 do start to add up, don't they?
I use Buffer, but with Buffer, though, they have a free start, don't they? It's limited.
Yeah, I think they have a free trial, but if you go for the free product, it's really cut down the amount of buffer, the amount of twits that you can schedule on the free product.
Yeah, just a 3 to 5 or something like that. Then they cut your way down. It's not much. But anyway, Jonathan, we covered a lot of stuff today, and we can do some comparison. I think we do need to talk about the social culture, especially with the people I'm working with who are new. They make a lot of mistakes on that social culture, and they just don't understand it. They get scared and concerned, and they either put too many posts up, or they put a post up and they want to. Anyway, we could talk a little bit more in future episodes.
The other thing I didn't mention is that you do, if you're going to use Twitter, you do need a URL shortener. And there's a number of them out there that are free. But you do have to remember. The other thing you want to remember, it's hard to do though, is that you only got 140 characters, but you do want less than 140 characters because people will want to retweet your tweets.
Okay.
And it's good policy to leave some space. So they can just because their Twitter handle will be added to the retweet. See, these are the type of things. It's not jet science, but it is a bit of a world of its own, isn't it, Bill?
It absolutely is, and it takes a few weeks, I think, to get comfortable with the platform. That's playing with it like in the evenings at night, a couple minutes at night before you go to bed or whatever. It does take some time to get used to it, and it's always changing a little bit. I agree. Well, we need to wrap this up, Jonathan. 2-minute commercial. How is MailRite doing? What are you doing with MailRite?
I'm reconsidering the market. I am committed as a veterinarian, but I'm also looking at offering a free product and aiming it at the general WordPress community. And just to get users and traction and get the name out. I'm talking to a couple of people well known in the veterinarian industry as maybe they will become partners. Talking to a couple of other people. I'm waiting to see if my application with the Reno Startup Fund is successful this time. That should come through in the next couple of days. I've been very lucky to have the support on my board of advisors of some of the very respected and experienced local business people. If I'm refused this time, I really don't know what I could have done differently. I think I've put a very strong case, and I've got a very strong board of advisors, Bill, haven't I?
Yep, you do. You got a good group for Reno, but We could talk about Reno some other time. But for me, let me talk about New Media Gold. We've got the name of the school. I've got some beta folks in our system right now. They really got a good deal. We installed Dynamic, Genesis and Dynamic, set them up with, we use Bluehost. They're all set up and going. But we're working on the backside school, and we've got the WordPress training all down. But still working on that platform and the membership site. But we did come up with a name, and we've got a website, which is School New Media. And, of course, new media is up and coming, and social media is just a part of new media.
Yes.
And this big evolution. So is WordPress. WordPress is really your platform where everything starts. Yeah. That's what people don't realize, how important your website is. And to me, and the king of websites is WordPress. So that's just some of the stuff that's going on. Well, we'll have the show up tonight. It's Monday night. Normally we'd have this up Sunday night, but we put the Google Plus Hangout, which was really good this past week.
Oh, it was a fantastic show, wasn't it? Yeah. It's so enjoyable, and we had a good guest. We had some nice guest panelists, and we had some of our established panelists, and I thought it was the best. Yeah. And having your help makes enormous difference.
And I learned a lot from you guys. Hanging around the coders.
Just like to say, Bill, that I do appreciate you helping with that. And Bill's help has been great on that, because you can ask us questions. We've got a chat room now, and we've got some really great panelists. We've got Morton from that's an enormous resource on its own.
Yep.
And he's one of the most down-to-earth, genuinely nice, but hugely knowledgeable about WordPress people that I've ever met, isn't he, Morton?
Morton is absolutely, we're so lucky to have. We have a great panel all the way across. I like our entire panel, but they all bring expertise. All great,
but he's such a nice guy, isn't he, Bill?
True, very true. Adam is wonderful. They're all good. They're all good. And we'll mix it up with some guests.
Apart from that grumpy English guy.
Yeah. All right, Jonathan. Let's finish it up for today. There's so much to this. This month there'll be a lot of information coming down on social media.
Yep, it's going to be Mad March, social media Mad March, Bill.
With that, we'll sign off. That'll be Mad March. Good sign off there.